I'm 52, almost 52. I'm a published writer in Israel, a mother of two. 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and became the entrepreneur that I am. I'm a BRCA carrier, and actually I come from a very distinguished dynasty of women that were all diagnosed with breast and or ovarian cancer. My grandmother had 4 sisters. All of them were affected by breast and ovarian cancer. My mother had breast cancer when she was 41, and I was diagnosed when I was 40. After I was diagnosed, I had to undergo a double mastectomy because of my gene mutation and because of the my tumor was a triple negative, which is a very aggressive kind of breast cancer. So the recommendation was to remove the breast that had the 3 tumors, but also to remove the other one. And I was opt to have an immediate reconstruction. My reconstruction was complicated, and I had to have another one and then another one, and it ended up with 5 surgeries. Before the 6th one, I decided that I'm not going to have another surgery, and I just got a real huge tattoo all over my breasts and scars. The physical recovery is very hard. Women wake up with, usually with drains coming out of their armpits, with a lot of pain, with huge scars. And this is when we're talking about reconstructions with implants, which is sort of easier. But I think that the harder recovery was the mental one. I woke up covered with all kind of bandages and a lot of tape to hold the pads and gauze to the round organs. It was clear that none of those pads was designed to meet the breast shape. And I was wearing a reusable bra, a compression bra above it, and then there were straps to keep the implants from going up and down and flipping, and there was some kind of I don't even know what was it, that was supposed to be holding the drains. So I was covered with a layer over a layer, and none of those layers was not designed to meet the requirements of a patient post-op. So when I went home and I had to deal with it, it was uncomfortable. It was kind of disgusting because I was wearing a reusable bra that got really filthy and stained with blood and ooze and exudates, and it was. So of course I bought more so I can replace and change them, but I had to wash my bras from my own blood, and it was really, really disgusting and humiliating. Not to mention the fact that lifting my arms in order to just put on or put off the bra was mission impossible. So in one of the most sensitive times in my life, when I had to learn how to live with my new breast that didn't even remind my old one, I had to request someone else's help in each change of dressing. And at the first days, of course, it was my mom, the breast cancer survivor, that is a very, very tough person. And it was, I think that for the both of us, it was one of the most horrible times, because she would help me change dressings, and she would cry and I would cry, and everything that had to do with the dressings and the changing of the dressings and the things that had to do with the recovery from the physical surgery was so complicated, and it was so clear that nobody had ever thought about making it easy or dignified for the patients. This is a very, very unique experience, I think. And it's a very unique recovery, and I think that the treatment and the approach should be very, very different when we are talking about women that need to define themselves again, and usually from a very painful and hard position towards their body image and their self-esteem. It's changed forever. I think the most disturbing thing that happened to me is the fact that I woke up from my double mastectomy and immediate reconstructions, and I realized for the first time that I have no nipples. Nobody told me before this is something that is going to happen. Nobody thought that it was important that I'd know that, and even worse than that, I found it out when the surgeon came for a follow-up with a lot of students. They entered my room and they tore the adhesive that was attached to my skin that created a huge pain and an allergic reaction. I felt really violated, having to see what my new breasts look like when 4 or 5 strangers are standing by my bed without having anyone thinking that this is probably the most intimate time in my entire life. I mean, bringing 2 kids to life was less intimate than that, and having to understand that this is the way I feel. And I think that being very sensitive and preparing the patient and making sure she understands everything that is going to be removed or changed, or the side effects, or the way all those kind of things are going to impact and influence the rest of her life, must be something that the medical community treats better and differently, because I think that 82.5% of women having to deal with PTSD is a number that should make the ground move. EZbra is the only designated sterile disposable post-op bra. Amazingly, 13 million breast procedures being performed annually, and there is no standard of care for dressing a breast post-op. There is a standard for care for almost any other organ, but not for the breast. So when we understood that we've created a very, very good solution, and a very adjustable solution that can really give a great support and compression and definition of the folds and design of the breast and absorption of the exudates and sterile, so it reduces the risk of infection. So when we understood that we have created such a great product, it's very, very clear to us that we want EZbra to become the gold standard of care for all breast procedures. This is EZbra. As you can see, it's very light. It's very, very soft. It's breathable. And it was designed to be easily applied by the patient post-op without having to lift her arms. And it is very, very easily attached to the center, and then starts a whole process of adjustment to each patient and her specific breast shape, size, and needs, because with all the current solutions, when there is asymmetry, which is something that would happen very, very often with breast cancer patients, there is no solution. But with EZbra, when I'm pulling this strap, only the right cup would adjust to the exact shape and size underneath. So if I had mastectomy on one side and then a full healthy breast on the other one, it would still comply with the shape. So the strap is creating the compression and the support. Then it holds the implants from going up and down or flipping. The Velcro tip over here can hold the drain tube that is coming usually from under the armpit. So it bounds it from moving and creating a lot of pain. When I'm pulling the other strap, only the left cup would adjust to the exact shape and size underneath. The lower strap is helping to define the under breast fold, which is exactly the place in which most of the incisions will be and most of the scarrings. Even when we're speaking about cosmetic surgeries, most of the scarrings will be in the under breast fold. I'm doing the same in here. The same in here. Again, if I had a drain tube, it would hold it. I can, and the surgeons can create any shape, design to push the breast towards the center or do any other things as they require. And then I can add or decrease the amount of compression. I can hang the drain bulb on the lower strap so it gives a very full solution. It contains no adhesives. It's absorbing 10 times its weight. And when it's dirty, it just goes directly to the garbage and replaced with a new and fresh and hygiene one. For the last 2 years, we went to a lot of plastic surgeons and breast surgeons conferences. The most common question that we're being asked by surgeons is, how come nobody thought about it before? When patients and survivors see it, they all look at it, and the most common question is always, where have you been when I needed you? For me personally, the most emotional time was when my mother had another tumor just a few weeks ago, and she had to have another lumpectomy once again. And seeing my mom post-op wearing EZbra and changing EZbras was, yeah, very emotional. No, EZbra is for anyone that has or chose to have a breast surgery, because we created a dressing that is designated for the breast, and it is giving a perfect solution to all the kind of needs and requirements that arise from those kind of surgeries. This October, on Breast Cancer Awareness Month, anyone can go onto our website, purchase as many EZbras as they want, choose the organization they support, and we will send the donation to them to make a real change in a patient's life. Awesome.